Good afternoon, NuPath. Welcome to NuPath Live. I'm Dan Harrison, your host. Today's April 1st, 2021. And this is an exciting place to work in. And I think the fact that we're starting to see more energy and it was a lot of final minute rushing around, getting ready for this. You'd think we were on Channel 7 News or something, the way we're all going right up to the wire. But you know what? That energy tells us that we are on the move and we are moving back to better. But before we start what is sure to be a fantastic program today, we're going to go to our own Brett Riley for a drawing. This is for the weekly gift card for those staff who've received both vaccines. Hello, Brett. Welcome.
Hey, Dan.
And I used a little sarcasm, I realized last week, but I said you just love doing this because I think we all know that you do. Lest anyone out there really thinks that you live for the opportunity to be on camera. I know you probably don't. But let's roll that, what do you call it, basket wheel? What is it we have there?
Back to better basket, right?
Back to better basket. Say, that's a nice pass. Okay.
I even added in the creaky sound effect.
I wouldn't want it any other way. It really shows the authenticity of that legacy medium.
All right.
Random names. Here goes. Drum roll.
Tammy West.
Tammy West.
There she is.
I have to tell you a funny story. Right now, I think everybody's hearing this. Wah, 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 and Greg's playing, at least I hope he does. They're going to look really silly right now. But the first couple of times that we did this, I didn't realize I can't hear it on my end. So I was going to say to Greg afterwards, we need to get some sound effects in there. But I assume they played, did they? Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, well, Tammy West. Congratulations.
And Tammy, keep an eye out because we're going to email you today. You'll get an electronic gift card. So $100. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Tammy. That's terrific. Okay. Thank you, Brett, for being there with us today live from 147 in Boston Street. Okay. It's been an unusual couple of weeks for me. I feel like I want to start out by recognizing that I have worked for the best organization in the world. It's my humble opinion and maybe just a teeny bit biased, but this is a place where you can feel love and you can feel important and you can feel like you matter and belong. There it is, one of our core values, one of my favorites. Well, I guess they're all my favorite in some way or another. Guys, thank you so much. The past 2 weeks with my mother passing and then having this, the wake and the service last week and last Thursday, you were very gracious in letting me pay a small tribute to my mother, who I will miss dearly. We're dealing with all of the aftermath. Sending out thank you cards and emptying out her apartment and all of those things. You just don't think about all the activity that goes into it. I just had this profound sense of deep appreciation for all the staff that came to the wake. That sent me cards. I've gotten emails this week from family members that have heard about it and watching our NuPath Live. I'm so pleased to hear people are watching NuPath Live and that they make it part of their weekly media, sort of intake, because we do share important news here. But B, that people took the time to just send me a little email, and sometimes those gestures mean the world. And I was thinking, I don't know how we do this, but I want to be the kind of organization that people are reaching out and wrapping their loving arms around people in pain, not because of the CEO of the organization, because we know that during times of personal loss, and we will all have them, there is nobody on this earth that is going to escape it in some form or another. And when you need a family, a big, strong multi-dimensional family like NuPath at a time like that. It's so great to have those people that care, and I can't imagine going through these times of pain and sadness without the support of a team that really cares. So if you are out there and you've lost somebody, or you want us to know about it, please feel free to let somebody become aware, because if you need somebody to listen, I've been through it, and I know what it's like to lose a family member. So anyway, enough about that. We've been talking about Back to Better. We've spent a few of the past weeks kind of highlighting how now that we're getting vaccinated, and I'm told that we're have passed the 50% mark for people eligible for vaccines, and NuPath have been vaccinated. My opinion, far too low still, but it is a good starting place, and we're going to continue to work toward educating and helping people make the decision that those who are hesitant to get the vaccine for one reason or another. But this is going to be, we've said for many weeks, and even before the vaccine was approved, this is how we're going to get back. And now we're talking about Back to Better. And that starts with getting people back into our programs. Dan Lannon's going to join us toward the end of this half hour that we're spending together. But in a moment, I'm going to ask Karen Franklin to come on, because in order to get these people, our friends, back to work and back to day program, we're going to need the staff in positions in order to meet their needs, and in order to keep people safe and to provide a good, safe, and COVID-free environment. So we are announcing today, very excited, the introduction of our new Employee Referral Stimulus Program. We are going to be, this is going to be a 3-month experiment, and this is going to be in addition to the current Employee Referral Program that Karen will remind us of when she comes on. That factors in, you have to wait 6 months or until the end of the introductory phase before some of the bonuses are realized. But in this referral program, the employee who is hired into the job gets an immediate bonus of $300. So we'll call that a signing bonus. I don't think you'll find many of these in our industry. And the person who's referred the person will get a $300 bonus for the referral, and that money will be put into will be part of in the next payroll. So that's something that will happen immediately. There's not going to be a limit on the number of people that you can refer, and if they're hired by the organization, both you and the person you've have referred will also receive the 300 and still be eligible for our regular referral program. Of course, there'll be more details with the HR department, and I believe there is an email situated to go out following this. But do we have Karen to bring her on now, and maybe just to fill us in just very briefly on how this is going to be different from past? There you are, Karen. How you doing?
I'm great today. How are you?
Good to see you, and thank you for joining us today. So we got a lot of vacancies, and especially in our day programs where we're trying to get people back. Dan's going to talk to us at the end. Oh, actually, scrap that. I don't think we're going to have Dan. So I'm going to have to maybe fly solo with it. Okay. We are going to have Dan. Okay. Thank you. I've just heard that confirmed. So Dan's going to talk to us about, how some recent changes to the guidance in, with CDC and DPH, in particular, as it relates to our industry, have recently been relaxed a little, which is allowing more people on transportation routes, which means more and more people are going to be coming back to program. That's cause for the air horn and a round of applause, but we need the staff in place to receive these people. And with the vacancies that we have, and with the unemployment being particularly lucrative right now for those who are out of work, we're facing a lot of different competing demands. Do you want to just talk briefly about, your thinking behind this, and then what you're hoping to achieve through this, and how we want to get people, excited by this opportunity and getting us back to better.
Yeah, so we have some great news that at this point, we've brought back almost everybody that has been furloughed that is ready to come back. We have several staff that can't come back yet, and we're trying to keep them, in the back burner and keep a position open for them. But we have a lot of need right now, especially in residential, because we're taking all of our day staff that we have put out in the residences, and we're bringing them back to the day program. Things are getting back to better faster than we could have ever dreamed. So how do we make sure that we get some great qualified staff in here? And we do have some issues. I mean, most staff are staying home due to the fact that they have children that are homeschooling. But we have some staff that just are enjoying being on unemployment and aren't ready to come back. And we can't hold a job for somebody who's not ready to come back now. So how do we incentivize the staff that we do have that are back? We have the Employee Referral Program, as you alluded to the fact that it takes the 6 months probationary period, and then you get the referral. We wanted to reward people immediately, and we also wanted to reward people that want to start working. So just like you said, upon hire, we'll have folks in that first pay cycle. The new hire will get $300, minus appropriate taxes, and then $300 for the referring employee as well. The referring employee will be able to still qualify for the $500 after the six-month probationary period if they're in good standings and the person is still working for us. So a lot of good, exciting news.
That is good, exciting news. You know what? I was smiling when I was hearing about the recommendation that was made. You and Ted and Brett and others, sure. In conversations, it had recommended this, and I think it's great. First of all, I love that we're calling it Employee Referral Stimulus Program. Hey, the federal government could have 3 stimulus programs.
Right.
We could have 1.
Right.
This is a stimulus. This is designed to really stimulate interest. And if you've had somebody, a friend, a family member, somebody that you've worked with in the past that you've been thinking about. Maybe I should see if they're interested in coming to work for NuPath. Now's the time. Now's the time to go through your contact list and see maybe who you know that's out there that's ready to come back to work if they haven't been, or ready to make a change. People, traditionally when we think about these sorts of things, the conventional way is, well, we better make sure nobody's going to try to cheat us because somebody could, make it work on a scheme where they're going to get hired and then they're going to get the bonus, and the second they get the bonus, they're going to quit. They're going to, and my feeling is that's an awful lot of work to do for an extra $300. It could happen, but our goal here is that it's not gonna you're not gonna retire on this, but this is like a little immediate little bump to your paycheck that we can thank you now, and still you'll still be entitled to the regular program that's always been there, that takes into account maybe some of those more those other considerations, and really say a big thank you to the person that's referred the person, and then the person who's joined us, because we recognize that there's a big competition right now. Yeah, we're competing with our sister organizations for talent and for the very best people. We believe that we've got some superior benefits and wages, but sometimes a little something extra on top doesn't hurt to try to bring people into our family. So we hope this is going to work and excite people to some degree, and we'll see after 3 months how successful it's been. So I'm glad you mentioned residential. Residential is always understaffed and always trying to ship people from one place to the next. So when we mentioned the day program opening, you're right to point out that residential in some cases have lost some great staff if the day staff have gone back. But I've also heard in some cases that some of the residential people, the day program people that had gone to residential in some cases have decided they rather really like it in residential. Is that true, Karen? Has there been enough?
We had a decent amount of people who wanted to stay. They like their jobs. I should say that we also need some help in our Westford Day program because we've lost some good staff, and I want to be sad for us, but excited for them because they've moved on to schooling or some different opportunities. So we do have some daytime opportunities, vacant as well.
1 year ago, we had just were in the very beginning stages of trying to understand what the heck we had found ourselves in. This,
right.
I mean, we were wearing gloves into supermarkets, and it was pretty. It was a pretty rough time. And I remember saying then, and it's become even more so. I'm more convinced of it that we're never going to be the same. I mean, this organization has changed forever. And we believe that it's for the best. We're going to find ourselves leaner and more efficient in a lot of areas. The idea that there's still some NuPath staff primarily in administrative capacities that are working some hours remotely. The biggest buzzword now in the business world is this hybrid schedule that everybody's talking about, and it's always the same, 2 or 3 days at home, through 2 or 3 days in the office, and whether or not that's going to be something that we continue to support in transition, that's still what is happening.
Right.
But it remains to be seen what our long-term goals are, and these are things that we still have to sort out. But right now, the most important thing is that we are finding ways to attract the top talent, bringing them into our programs as we're trying to get up and running again. We have many friends out there that in some cases that have not been back to any day program capacity for a year. There's some trepidation. There's going to be some skepticism, maybe in some case, fear. And hopefully we'll be able to talk about some of the events that we're going to be having planned. I don't know if you've been included in any of those conversations about some of the activities, but I want you to be thinking, Karen, because I want to find ways to regularly start to re-engage with one another in staffing too, and I'm thinking the afternoon cookout as the weather gets nicer. We're gonna have tents delivered if we haven't, if they're not already scheduled, in our location. So
Right.
Can you help me figure out some fun things that we can start getting on the schedule and start to get people feeling more comfortable again, being around one another.
Absolutely. I have some other ideas too. I'll share with you later.
And I only have you for another minute, and I feel like I've done a lot of the talking. You're probably thinking, what's new? But when we, one of the big things that I feel like we had done, so you and a team of people have done such a great job, is really refining our new staff orientation. And that's another thing that we're really going to have to, figure out, in this post-pandemic,
Right.
future. It's just another example of those things where you stop and you say, how important is this that we pull these people together? Maybe some time before we're really able to pull people together in a density that we had once done before. But we need to find ways where we can kind of rediscover, if you will, the joy that comes from working along some really talented people, being a part of a team that is doing some extraordinary things. And I don't care what you say, the convenience aside of being home for that small group of people that are able to actually do that and continue to work. There's things lost in it. We've agreed, and so we want to be finding ways to re-engage, not with our employees, but also with our families and the clients that are just going to be back for the first time. Anything else you want to mention? You've got the stage. A quick last minute or anything that I forgot to announce or
I think that is just great that we're able to offer this employee referral program. So I hope people are excited and take up on that. We are back to better, like I said, and it's happening faster than we ever could imagined. To see the Martin Center back alive is just amazing, and everyone's just so happy to be there. So a lot of good fun things coming. We have lots of people vaccinated, COVID numbers coming down. The HR team has worked real hard to do a virtual onboarding to our new hires. We've already had some employee referrals come through in the month of March. We've already hired a few people, done a few virtual onboardings, and working on a few more the next couple weeks. And like I said, we've called just about everybody who was furloughed, and if they're ready and willing to come back, they're being offered to come back. So this is all just amazing stuff. Imagine it just took a whole year to get to this amazing place.
Well, we thank you for all you're doing to lead that important component and division of this organization. And I will be talking to you again soon. Thanks,
Excellent.
Karen.
Thank you. Right. Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, we're moving right along, and I'm pleased to hear that Dan Lannon is going to be able to join us. Dan's, the detail guy. He's got a lot of the nuts and bolts. Mr. Lannon, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dan. How are you?
Thanks for being here. I wasn't sure that we were gonna have you there at the end. We were about a minute late going live today, and I, you know how much I love that.
Yes, I do. I know how much you appreciate that.
But here, we've got about 8 minutes left before we wrap up today. We're a lot of this discussion about this workforce crisis and about, how are we going to fill shifts as we reopen programs. This is something that's being talked about across the Commonwealth and frankly across the country, and it's this weird phenomenon of having a relatively pretty high unemployment rate and yet not having the matches for the workforce, because many of our workforce, if they're not working, there's reasons why they're not. And we talked about the the virtual learning in schools and people having to be home with their kids and so on. But what are we looking at now? We have needs in Westford because that program is gaining speed. At the Martin Center, which recently reopened and I know is adding people every day. Talk to us about where we are as an organization and how things are looking with capacity and where we're going.
Yeah, no, I would love to. I think it's a very challenging time right now because this is what we've all waited for. We've been waiting for restrictions to loosen up a little bit, and I'll use transportation as one example, where we're able to now put 4 people in a van. They lowered the social distancing to 3 feet for vehicles, and that's huge. That doubles the transportation. So now we're seeing numbers increase dramatically. Like Monday, we're expecting a big jump in numbers at each location, the Westford, the Martin Center, and here at New Boston Street. And with those regulations being loosened a little bit, we still know that there is such a demand for staff coming back into programs, because that pace, with the pace of which staff are ready to come back to work, is not keeping up with the less restriction pace. And so we do find ourselves in an interesting crossroad where the need for staff is so great, and just the conversation and throughout the state and throughout certainly all the provider groups we're with is that everyone's competing for the same job market right now. Everyone's competing for the same employees, and so we're just trying to give some incentive to get people back here, because the staff and transportation drivers and the people that all help us every day and are vital to the existence of this agency. We just can't take in people if we don't have those key positions covered. And so that's where we're at right now.
I don't know whether to go there, but here I am going there. This idea that you hear it circulated, and we've even seen evidence of some of that in our own programs. But this idea that people could make more money being unemployed because of the additional federal assistance. I think it's, I shouldn't say, I think it's $300 additional a week. And then the extended length of eligibility for unemployment. And I think I said, a few weeks ago when we talked about the stimulus package and what it was going to bring to people, do I begrudge the people that are able to continue on unemployment and are able to, make ends meet because of the 300? No, I mean, that's what we want. We want people to not be in grave hardship and to be able to manage, children that may be at home, that there's, that they don't have other childcare options, but it doesn't change the fact that it makes things more difficult for organizations like NuPath if we've got good people that otherwise would be compelled to come back to work, but now don't have to. So it kind of feels like you feel kind of guilty for being, jealous of the fact that, unemployment is so good that people can do that. So I'm just putting it out on the table that it's a fact that businesses are facing, and yet the people that we have that, are very dedicated employees that have been through it from day one till now, continue to come, have taken other assignments, and have maintained their longevity with this organization. That is, I believe, worth something, and I think that employees, I know there have been some that have had the option whether, I'm going to be unemployed or I'll take, another assignment. I think it really speaks to, a level of real, real determined dedication to the organization, and understanding that, longevity with this organization means something. You leave and, you don't know if you're going to be able to come back or if you'll have a job that you love. And I don't know, I guess I just wanted to say a special shout out to the employees that have been through it from the beginning of this, and now hopefully as we see dawn on the horizon. What are your thoughts on that in the last couple of minutes we have?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right, and I know that this is something that we talked about separately. The staff in Westford, or the residential homes, or here at New Boston Street, and most recently, the Martin Center staff, who so many worked at other locations, during it, other group homes and stuff. We're just to see the excitement on their faces to get back to their job that they loved, and their regular routine that they had. Even some of them now staying in their new routine and in the residential component, or maybe at a different day program. I think it just shows their commitment to the individuals. Even greater, I think, than NuPath. It's to the individuals. It's to the people they serve and the career that they chose to do. And I do think what gets lost in that unemployment, other way to look at unemployment, and some people hanging on to unemployment longer. I guess I would use your assume positive intent statement that you've always mentioned for years. I'm assuming, positive intent, that they have the desire to get back to work. They just aren't able to at this current time due to kids still being homeschooled, taking care of a family member. But I also know that I have that positive intent because they know they need, at some point we're all going to get back to the new normal, and they know they'll need to get back to new normal. And we really don't know how great of number those people are. Certainly we know the numbers of staff that are still on furlough, and certainly we know the numbers of staff that had been laid off. And many of them have been invited back, and some haven't been able to return. But that still won't even come close to fitting our needs right now, because there were a number of staff that, while during this pandemic, who might have been on unemployment or might have been getting some public assistance, found themselves other job opportunities. Job opportunities out of the field that pay greater than what this field can pay. And so we know some of them, we don't know all of them, and we just know the reality of the situation is that we need to make sure that we have the right supports for people to return safely, and to continue practicing even though guidelines have been loosened a little bit, everyone's still with 6 feet social distancing. There's still the same temperature checks, hygiene protocols, everything in place so that people can still feel safe. And I think that's what's most important to us.
Well, Dan, you had summarized it perfectly for us, and we thank you for being on today, and we'll see you again soon. And you've got your work cut out for you out there. We all do, don't we? As we get better. So thanks again for being here today.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. All right. Yes, light at the end of the tunnel, ladies and gentlemen. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are feeling good. Very good, in fact, and we need you, though. We're gonna be talking more as this year goes on about rescheduled. It's maybe not a walk, but a fundraising event, and there's a lot of people out there with some great skills that got a little dusty, maybe a little rusty with our Club 50s and some of the competitive edge that this exists in this organization. So stay tuned. We'll be sharing more as time goes on. And thank you again for your personal care and love and thoughts to me, but also for being such an important part of this organization and for watching today. We got this, guys. With your help, we've got this. We really do. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.